Flatbush Avenue, Brooklyn, crossing Empire Boulevard. The Brooklyn Botanic Garden is on the right, and Prospect Park is on the left. Somebody just got caught by the speed camera. Prospect Park Zoo is over here. In 1986, three 12-year-olds took advantage of a car crash site where the fence was broken. They went in after hours on a summer evening, and one of them was eaten by polar bears right here in Brooklyn. The Botanic Garden has a springtime cherry tree festival. It's wonderful and it smells great. Prospect Park is just a little younger than Central Park. It was designed by Olmsted, just as Central Park was. It still predates electric lights and cars. So there are tunnels underneath the main road to allow pedestrians to escape being literally run over by horses and carriages. At the end of the Botanic Garden is it's publicly owned land and two public venues. Right over here, the 1930s library, and around the corner on Eastern Parkway, the Brooklyn Museum. Over on the left, a monument to the soldiers and sailors of the American Civil War. Traffic circle here. You may call them a roundabout, but we invented them, so they're traffic circles. Nursing home over there. It was once known as the Madonna residence until Madonna became a big thing. Going downhill. There's a statue somewhere nearby of General Warren of the Army Corps of Engineers. His daughter took over the Brooklyn Bridge project and managed it. There's a plaque in her honor on the Brooklyn Bridge. By the way, if you're from a small town, you might not want to drive in New York. You have good reason not to. It can be, when I started driving down here, I'm from a small town upstate. Go ahead. It was scary. There were cars all around me all the time. And they were all blowing their horns. Park Slope, that is the slope downhill from the park, is over this way, and over that way, Prospect Heights. 100-year-old, 150-year-old houses, and early 20th century apartment buildings, and a few brownstones I see. Pardon. Those skyscrapers ahead are not in Manhattan, they're Brooklyn. I really didn't think it was possible to build so tall in Brooklyn, because this entire island is stones and dirt and sand that was pushed out to sea during the ice ages. There is no bedrock around here. Back when I was doing double-decker work, people would always ask, where are the gas stations? Are all these cars electric? Well, there's a gas station a block or two ahead, I think. Yep. Time to stop. The building on the immediate right is brick and brownstone. There is no more brownstone, so they mix concrete when they need to do repairs for like spalling or cracking, and they mix it with a brown dye to make it simulate brownstone, and they put it on and they mold it, and it looks almost just like the real thing. Downhill on Flatbush. Why is it called Flatbush? Right behind us, directly behind us, about 2 miles, was the Dutch town of flat land in bushland, or Fleetbush, which after the English took over in the 1650s became Flatbush. Just past Barclay Center, and I didn't even mention it. We gonna rock down to Atlantic Avenue. That's a subway station on the left, like a little Dutch house. All these new buildings, wow. They're so tall. I have to wonder what that power cord is for. Another brownstone building, or a set of buildings over there. In the 1840s, a homeowner in Brooklyn Heights had a brick face house, and he wanted it covered with some sculptable rock, and sandstone is very sculptable. So also at the time, brown sandstone from Connecticut or New Jersey, mostly Connecticut, was cheap, but then everybody had to have a brownstone, and there are dozens of churches and public buildings and apartment houses, all made or at least faced in brownstone. And now there's none left. The last brownstone was quarried around 1930 or so. If you happen to know what that sound is, I'd like to get your advice. Wow, Khalil Gibran teaches at an academy. This is BAM over there, the Brooklyn Academy of Music. Great local shows. I don't mean like, I mean like choreography, dancers, Philip Glass, movies, I mean documentary movies, not just Hollywood. It's a great place, and probably 250,000 Brooklynites use BAM or have season tickets. The population of Brooklyn is about 2.5 million, And it's about 2:15 p.m. on a Friday, and apparently they're all right here. There's a body shop across from my house. All the young guys want a BMW because they're powerful. And I see a new BMW or two in the body shop every week with front end damage. Now, if I continue straight, we'll go up on the Manhattan Bridge. I'm on my way to Chinatown because today's the day before Chinese New Year, and it's traditional for Chinese people to get a haircut. I need one. I've been going to the same barbers for like 40 years. I just hope nobody in front of me needs to take a left turn, because that will take a whole minute to get past it, that is. Yeah, here's a new building, just topped out. It's, I think, like 900 feet tall. Way off in the distance, to the right of the white building. It's funny, you can't see it from here. I can see it because I'm seeing above the car roof is the Manhattan Bridge. You may not think people are healthy here, but fortunately, there's the Department of Health on the right. The bridge ahead. Only 5 more minutes to go those 3 or 4 blocks. I first came here with my wife-to-be and our friends, who dubbed Flatbush Avenue Lose-a-Muffler Road. The city was coming out of its fiscal crisis, and there hadn't been road repair in quite a long time. We just went over a bump, but that's nothing compared to the way Flatbush Avenue used to be. I wonder what this vehicle does not do. Cowboy. There's a bridge. Technically, we're on it right now. 1903 it was finished. This one is 100% steel. The Brooklyn Bridge, well, the Brooklyn Bridge it was the first to use steel cable supports, but the towers are granite. You just saw that truck. The Brooklyn Bridge can't allow trucks. There's a subway train just to the left, 2 tracks for subways, and 2 more over here on the right. And let's look at the tower go by. Oh, wow. Financial district out there. A helicopter flying over that way took the opening scene of the TV series Taxi. It's a far tower. Now I guess technically we're in Manhattan. And we'll go a big bump. And we'll go right on to Canal Street. Yeah, there's an upper level. That's where the Men in Black car drives. This is the gateway to Brooklyn. You know, I don't think I've ever seen it this close before. Up above the arch, there's a sculpture of Native Americans on horseback hunting buffalo, but it's not thought that there were any buffalo ever in Brooklyn. I could be wrong. So there's a truck there. Why do the trucks come here? Because you go down Flatbush Avenue, over this bridge, across Canal Street, which is like the most congested street you ever saw, and then into the Holland Tunnel, straight over to New Jersey. So from Long Island to New Jersey, it looks really slow, but this is the fastest way. New hotel. This used to be a KFC, which in Chinatown meant Kung Fu Cinema. There's a Mahayana Buddhist temple where those red columns are. A lot of Buddhist temples around here. And if nobody's told you this before, Gung choy. Happy New Year, or good wishes. This is also kind of the dividing line. Ahead is Chinatown, and to the right rear is the Lower East Side. And we're not going to make it across this light. Nope. This is February 2024. 400 years ago, the Dutch began to colonize the area down there. And just over here, the street is called Bowery. Boer. The Boer. In Old English, the farmer that's nearest to you is your neighbor. The near farm. Bowery meant the road from the city to the left up to the farms to the right. Much further north, Bowery becomes 3rd Avenue. I don't know if I can get in, but if I can get ahead of this truck, yes. Maybe I can take a left on Mott. Mott Street is the main drag of Chinatown. When I was on my way to getting married, people in Chinatown called me a lofan, which means ghost, but it kind of means white people. Oh, this is nice. All dressed up for the occasion. Tomorrow there's going to be lots of fireworks here. I wonder if I can get in here. Nope. Maybe here. Yeah, that's enough room. No standing anytime. Oh, so that means the police are parked there. Those were all private cars belonging to police officers. So let's go down a block or two. So one day I'm in a dim sum restaurant with dim sum cart ladies. They push a dim sum cart along and offer you dishes. They don't speak much English. Usually it's Cantonese or Hoitin. And the lady offered me chicken feet. And I don't eat chicken feet because there isn't much meat on them. It's really a small amount of meat for $3. And I said no, and she turned to a table full of Chinese people and said in Chinese, "White people don't like chicken feet." There's a church ahead, it's Catholic. I think it was Presbyterian around 1800, and those blocks of stone are the what Manhattan is made of. Manhattan schist. I'm going to hang a right and go up Mulberry Street, as in Dr. Seuss. To think that I saw it on Mulberry Street. The fried dumpling place here, good dumplings, really cheap, but the lady who serves them is grumpy. There's Columbus Park. A lot of Irish and Italian people lived in tenements that were made of wood on this swampy land and were infested with mosquitoes that caused cholera and yellow fever. So in 1895, when this neighborhood was still Italian, they tore down. Ooh, she's going out. They tore down the houses and created this park, which, it being an Italian neighborhood, they named for Columbus. You can do a lot with a car that's 8 feet long that you can't do with one of those. There used to be enough parking for all the sedans in New York, but around 30 years ago, people started getting SUVs, and they are typically a yard longer than sedans, and now there's not enough room to park cars. Darn it, I can't get in. It's all for Justice Department people. The state courts and the federal courts are just over to the left. Matter of fact, my Chinese father-in-law, back when crime was low, he bribed some official to let gamblers play cards in a cell that he was the sort of the leasing agent for. He had been a bodyguard for a warlord in Shanghai and had to pull out when the communists came. He learned to cook, but he knew a lot of shady characters. Columbus Park now is a place for people to gamble if they don't want to take the bus over to Atlantic City to the casinos. Can you hear that? Peepaw and Erhu. nice day. I guess so. And it's time to see if the Jersey driver will run the light without signaling, stopping in the crosswalk. Hey, Jersey driver. Never mind. Actually, I think there's a parking garage at the end of this block. And it won't be too expensive. I can go over and get my hair cut. So he's not going the wrong way on a one-way. Good. No, I'm wrong. No garage. What kind of park we got here? These are tourists buying counterfeit goods that help support our nation's meth addiction. Well, that's about it. Thank you for driving through Brooklyn, the Manhattan Bridge, and Chinatown with me. This is Tour Guide Stan of Isle of New York.